What is up? Is that joke getting old? I think it's getting old. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. Today I have the show for you, but usually when I start the show, I just tell you guys about my life. Not sure why you guys seem to like that you guys seem to like that part of the show. I always thought, who cares? But it just seems like you guys always leave comments about what I'm doing. So, I'll keep going as long as, the people demand it. So anyways, today we're going to talk about Christian simps. And this is something I've covered extensively because I really did grow up around this. I was sick the last few days, so I'm sorry that I haven't really been at my best in terms of producing content. I always try to put something out for you guys, but I'll tell you what, if you guys saw my Coffee Talk Friday, I passed out right after that and slept for like 5 hours. And I'm not a napper, Then I'd already signed up for a volleyball tournament this weekend. Maybe it was like I shouldn't have been playing well. But it was incredible because we played one of the days I played against it was just like a sore throat stuff, But we played against it's a team in Dallas called the Dallas Pulse. And I was in a women's tournament. It was on Sunday. And this women's tournament, I normally play co-ed at my gym, okay? They're getting rid of the basketball court in my gym. It's the last week. But I normally will just play co-ed. I'll be at the gym. It's incredible, right? And I play with guys that usually have I have about 20 years of experience in playing volleyball. But the guys I play with, I would say have maybe up to 5 years max of experience playing volleyball. And anyone that's a volleyball player knows when you pass, sometimes their passes have really bad form, but it's kind of incredible how even with bad form, men can still excel at a very technical sport. To the point that this weekend when I played in the women's tournament, I actually felt like the game slowed down for me. I kind of thought I was going down in my level of play because I was playing co-ed, but the guys had no experience. But when I played with women's, I'm like, this is actually kind of slow. My passing was the best it had been in years. And I had the funniest idea, okay? And I need you guys, if anyone knows anyone, I think that my rec team, I wouldn't even play. I think that the guys at my gym that have only been playing for a few years could seriously beat the professional volleyball team because we played against a few pro players. And when I was thinking, I'm like, their hits are not as hard as the guys I play against that literally are just rec players. And I think it would be so funny to have the guys at my gym play against the professional Dallas women's team. And I would bet on the guys at my gym. So Gen Z men, they're different. They are not messing around. They are not messing around with this millennial men, I would say, treated women special. They don't want to play too hard against women. But Gen Z men, they will beat your ass. They don't give a fuck. They're look, if you want to play against men, we'll show you how to play against men. Promise to God they will. Promise to God. I need peptides. What peptides am I supposed to do? No, I don't think I have an ideal facial width to height ratio. I think it's actually unideal. I think I've done the looksmaxing.org and Caitlyn Jenner was ranked above me. And I'm like, wow, you can't win them all. I should take out my gum. Sorry, guys. Unprofessional woman. Yeah, I don't know. Gen Z, I'm 2 months. I'm a millennial woman, but barely. I barely made millennialism. I was born in November, and if I was born in January, I would have been Gen Z. So close yet so far. I like Gen Z women better than millennial. Younger the better. Am I right or am I right? Like they're really liberal, sure, but they still have youth in their eyes. All right. So trying to think. Let's go through my Twitter before I get to the topic today, which is mainly the Twitter. And then a couple updates. If you want to donate to the stream, it's best to use GoFundMe right now. We do have an app. But the problem was the app, they just kept raising the prices on me to the point it was ridiculous. So now we're swapping a new app, but we're kind of like, we're going to migrate everybody, but it's just, we're waiting for it to be done. So anyways. So if you want to donate to the divorce documentary, which we're kind of finalizing the people we're going to interview for it now. So, if you have a good story, feel free to email me. All right, let me go down. Let's see. Oh, I thought this is one of my old clips that I saw on Twitter, and I just thought was really funny. I was kind of chunky there. These are my favorite TradCon women talking points. I'll pray for you. Bitch. We know you're not praying for shit. You never tell me you'll pray for me when things are going good. When I'm having a great time and we're getting along fine, you never say you'll pray for me. But how crazy is it that whenever you're mad, that's when you're going to pray for me? Isn't it convenient? How using God to be passive aggressive. These are my favorite. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, apparently Clavicular is pressing charges against this woman, which is pretty funny.
Okay. Do you really believe women don't deserve rights? That's kind of a fucked up thing to say, right? You said you don't believe women deserve rights?
Like which one, dude? You have to clarify.
Like all women. You said all women don't deserve rights? What the fuck is wrong with you for that?
Like which one?
You're weird as hell.
Well, like, can you clarify what you mean?
You were raised by a mother.
Well, like,
you know all women deserve rights. Not
like,
just fucking you,
well,
man.
like which one? Like which right? Like the right to vote? Like can you explain like what you mean? Like which right? Like, the right to vote?
All women deserve the right to vote. Are you kidding me?
I'm asking you to clarify.
Oh, I gotta stop playing this. I'm gonna get copyright. I might have to edit that out later or clip it. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. Rock climbing. Anyone ever done rock climbing in here? This rock climber basically he never lifted before, and he started lifting with pro bodybuilders. And like these guys are way bigger than him, but the rock climber is just as strong, if not stronger. And it kind of makes sense because when I was a kid, we did crack climbing, and that shit was so hard.
Here we go, guys. Let's see replays on first day. No way!
Oh, it's not even a struggle, though.
Are you kidding me?
This video should be seen by every bodybuilder in the world.
Look at all the bodybuilders.
And it's so easy, though.
Yeah.
My God.
He's doing the same number of reps as us.
With the same amount of struggle, too. Like, you could have done more reps.
Yeah, you're stuck.
I want to stop when the form goes down, kind of.
Like, we're not exaggerating for the camera. That's genuinely mind-blowing. You're 165. You've 160, never done this in your entire life, a single rep.
Yeah.
And you just did the same working weight and reps as us with more range of motion and with good form.
And with what he just said he stopped and the form went away. Every bodybuilding coach in the world just wants to give you a hug right now. They're all just like, God, we love this.
I like how the bodybuilders are humble, though. They're like giving him his props. There's a 1 hour. What is this girl? Oh, we got to turn off the sound. What is she doing? Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, I've done rock climbing before. It's pretty hard. You're really sore the next day. So, yeah, I mean, that's a hard sport. That is a hard sport. Let's see what's going on. Before we get into the topic, an Uber driver, oh my gosh, an Uber driver picks up a cop during the middle of a foot pursuit to help him catch a suspect.
Go get him, bro. Go get him. Run, bro. Stop fighting, bro. Bro, it's a zip of weed, bro. Stop. I'll shoot. It's not that serious, bro. Hey, HP3, you good?
Yeah.
Go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is like the Uber driver's playing like a real life video game.
Stop. Stop. Get down. Get down. Get down. It's my bag. It's my bag. Put the phone down. Lay down on your stomach. Can you please say? Lay down on your stomach.
Black people. It's like incredible. He's like, my bad. What the fuck? What the? That's hilarious. I bet that Uber driver is going to tell that story forever. Apparently Taylor Frankie Paul lost custody of her son after the disturbing Dakota Mortensen fight video surfaced. It's probably a good thing. Coach Greg Adams says women cannot drive, saying men get in more accidents is not proof of our poor driving. Many of the accidents happen in the rear view mirror of many women. She has no clue of the carnage she's creating behind her. That is so true. Actually, I got into a car accident recently. Oh my God, it was the dumbest thing. I was like, oh my God, I was a fender bender. And oh my gosh, I backed up into a girl and I didn't even hear it. It was so weird. And the girl was so pissed. Like she comes up and she's like yelling at me. And it was kind of crazy because like I had nothing. I'm just like, yes, I was wrong and that was really stupid and I'll pay for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I think she was expecting me to like blame her in some way or I don't know, but I do you know what I mean? Yeah, I would be there was no, like, I wasn't arguing. I was like, oh God, I haven't gotten into an accident in like, since I was 16. I'm 29. So yeah, I haven't even, and and then she calmed down and I was like, I was just, but I was just like, look, I was wrong. You were right. I'll pay for it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you want to call the cops to log it, get insurance? Do you want to like, we can do whatever. I'm like, this was, I was in the wrong. I literally got nothing for you. Yeah. And then I paid for it. So she got it fixed. I paid for it. It was stupid. Cost me like $800. So, I mean, it was, what was I going to do? You know, I'm like, you know what I mean? Cause they were like, oh, you were wrong. And I'm like, yeah, I was wrong. I felt bad. You know, I didn't mean to ruin her day, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone's had that situation where someone's so pissed. I did look behind. That's the worst part. I did. I was looking behind, but I don't know why. Like in the mirror, she just looked further than what she was, you know. Like it just, I don't know. Like in I don't know. Like it was just weird because I was really convinced that I was not. It was so stupid. It was so stupid, and now I'm talking about it on live and just letting people know my incompetence. I think a man would never tell anybody, but I'll just own that. I mean. Yeah. Okay, I know the objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Like, I don't know. It was, Okay, look, I've backed up before. I've backed up a million times and never had that problem. Do you know what it was? I was kind of sick and I had a bad reaction to something, so I think I was just a little out of it. You know, yeah, just yeah. You know, it was stupid. I was wrong. It was stupid. Yeah. Yeah, I mean but that's what happened. She was like, "Oh, I'm like," I could just tell she was yelling at me and pissed. And that was fair. I was like, "Oh my God." But then she calmed down and then I gave her my number and then I paid for it. So I do not drive worse than an 81-year-old Karen. Okay. I'm like, I don't really okay. Let's see. Luka Doncic's ex is filing for child support in California despite living in Slovenia, which Luka claims is an attempt to secure a bigger payout. Yeah, so this woman's trying to put this guy on child support. She's known him since he was 12. This is what I mean. So many couples think, I was just talking to this guy the other day. He's like, "Oh, I've known my girlfriend since middle school. She would never do that." And I told him, I'm like, "Well, you never really know what a girl's going to do because I've met women that," and then he kind of just looked at me all awkward. And I'm like, "Do I need to shut up? Maybe I should just shut up more." He's like, "Oh, she would never." Like, people ask us for relationship advice. And I'm like, well, oh, this girl, this is kind of funny. I saw this girl that was like Arizona babysitting group. And hey, everyone, I'm looking for a family to take on part-time. And I didn't think this would get the traction it did. But this girl's like beautiful, right? And I'm just thinking, you guys are playing with fire, hiring a woman this hot. They're gonna hire her, and she's gonna be like, "Where are the kids?" And he's like, "Just sit, you're fine." Pearl, you don't know anything about Christian men. Shut your mouth. Then why do you guys keep proving me right every day? It's like, Clavicular exposed a mother for cheating on stream and going viral. And then apparently he said that my wife is a grown woman who I've been with for 25 years. She can do what she wants. Love you, sweetie. I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if this is real. So I'll just keep going. Oh, if anyone cares about what I'm eating this week, you guys seem to like this. So this was my meal prep. I just had a drumstick before the show. To be honest, this rice, I normally make really good rice. I don't know why I messed this up. I took a picture of it because it looks cool. But honestly, I threw it away because it was weird. It was like soft on the outside and hard in the middle. And I've made rice a million times. It's never done that before, so I don't know what I did. But the other stuff was really good. These granola bars, and I don't want to hear the judgment in the comments, because sometimes when you cook and you try different things every week, sometimes you mess it up. Like, it's just part of life. So, I know the presentation was good for this, but it was actually trash, so I threw it away. Then I did drumsticks. Then I did these granola bars, which are pretty good. And then I switched this with sushi rice because that turns out okay for me. So apparently the owner of OnlyFans died. And this guy says, "Rip King, thank you for giving the single moms a chance in this big mean world and letting us see their buttholes." Yeah. I think OnlyFans is a good thing because it reveals female nature. And nobody else is going to teach you that. Women are incredibly evil, but is this kind of valid? I got the ick because he texted me, "How was your weekend?" I actually liked him, but now I have to ghost. Yeah. I don't know if this is true, but I just want to believe it's so bad. 7 dogs were stolen from their owners and have gone viral after escaping their captors and making their way home. This group is believed to have traveled 17 kilometers together and led by a corgi across the highway and fields. Like, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard. All right, here we go. All right, we are getting into the topic today. Like the video if you want to pay me, right? If you want to pay me to support, if you want to support me, you can donate. Somebody's got to call out these simps, whores, and 304s. And you know, somebody's got to do it. It might as well be me. So feel free. Feel free. Yeah, I'm just saying, feel free. I like money. But I don't need it to do what I do because I do this for the love of the game. Okay, so Twitter has erupted because Christian simps are going to simp. Now, I have covered this topic extensively, and I'm going to give you my credentials to talk about the Christian topic, and you guys can decide if you think I'm credible. And if you don't think I'm credible, you can exit now. You don't have to listen. You can just write off my opinion. You can say, Pearl, your opinion is stupid, and just bounce, right? Now, the number one place that I get my opinions from is my upbringing. And I grew up in a Catholic family, and I went to Catholic school for 20 years. I would say my family went to mass most Sundays, not all Sundays, you know, sometimes we drank too much, right? But most Sundays. On top of that, when I went to college, I didn't really know what I believed. So I did experiment with a lot of different churches. That's not the only way I experiment. I'm just kidding. But I went to a lot of different churches. And I found myself after school in a non-denominational church. I wasn't really sure what I believed. I remember like mapping out all the different religions. And I remember thinking Jewish would be cool. I know all the Spurgs are going to come out, but I remember thinking, I wish I could believe that because the miracles are just a little bit hard for me to fathom. Like, I don't know if I like the parting the Red Sea. I'm like, that just seems a little bit like, did that really happen? You know? But I remember thinking I believed Catholic the most. And the reason at the time I believed Catholic the most was because I'd been in a non-denomination. Sorry. It was because I felt like there needed to be an authority figure so that all the churches didn't run wild, because I spent 2 years in a non-denominational church. And in the non-denominational church, although I did make a lot of friends, if any of you are watching this, sorry, I loved some of you, but there was just a lot of, nonsense. And I couldn't really articulate why it bothered me. I couldn't figure out why, but something just seemed off. And I think a lot of people have that feeling in church, but they cannot articulate why everything feels so off. Since then, I don't really know what I believe because the non-denominational churches have gone off the rails, but I've also seen Catholic churches go off the rails. Now, I know what they're going to say, right? I know they always come back and they say, it's always kind of a gaslighting, right? They say, no, that's just the church you went to. And it's always people that have believed for less of a time. It's like, I spent 20 years in Catholic school and going to church for 20 years. And now your experience of like 4 precedes mine. I don't know. Like, it's just, and it seems like, and again, I'm not the most educated person on this, so you can tune out if but I'm not like, it just seems like whenever you argue religion, people want to be right so bad. Like it's like they want to be right more than they love God or more than it's like, and then they just start shouting verses at you. And it's kind of the same way I feel when I quote, like when I do debates and they quote studies, right? I almost feel like your religion should make sense without you having to quote scripture. Because if we go back and forth, I've been to like 3 different churches that can quote scripture a different way, you know? And it's the same thing with like interpreting data. I'm just kind of a pattern noticer, right? And this is just the patterns I see. And I'm sorry, but I really did not see the Catholics not like growing up, I never really heard a sermon on women being addicted to social media, not banging their husbands, not getting fat, and just overall being cunty. When I go to a church and I hear the pastor, the priest, or whoever the hell is in the front demonize female sin the way they demonize male sin, I think I'll believe it. But again, I did 20 years and I'm like, and there's always just this gaslighting you get from Christians. And it's like the eternal gaslighting. They've all been Christian for 5 minutes, which by the way, the average religion timeline is 8 years. So I actually would like to implement, and I'm gonna implement a rule that I think I'm gonna offer to the Christians. That I think all of you, whatever your religion is, I think you would gain a lot of credibility. You'd gain a lot of credibility if you implemented this rule. You cannot tell me anything about anything ever until you have been practicing in your faith for a decade. 10 years. That's a big chunk of your life. That means you'd start at 20 and you can't nag me about it till you're 30. Doesn't count if you were raised in the religion. I need 10 years of adult choices that you made. Yes. And yes, your actions have to match. Now, I'm not saying you can be perfect. You have to be perfect. But I think there's some sins that we can just all agree I don't think are the most difficult to not make. And, you know, like, I'll give you an example. I think as a woman, dressing modestly is very easy. That's not a difficult thing to do. Now, again, I'm a sinner. I'm not even coming at this from a holier than thou. I'm not even coming at this from I think I should be the last person lecturing about scripture. But I think this implementation of a decade before you can nag, you can lecture, you can debate, but like you can't be a representative of your church. I don't know. I think that the men should take this and run with this and find a better system, right? But what seems to happen is everybody gets okay, I made a little thing I want to read. It's the Jesus cycle. Step 1, I changed 5 minutes ago and now I believe in God. Step 2, throw a party. Some people think of this as the baptism, the sacraments, etc. Okay, throw a party. Next, lecture everyone. So there's a psychological phenomenon that when you lecture everybody about everything, it's because you miss that thing more than anything. It's like the way I lecture fat people about food. It's because there's a part of me that I could just be a 500-pound bitch. I have that in me. I fucking love food, right? And that's why I lecture about it, right? But it's important to understand the psychological phenomenons that we can fall victim to, or maybe not victim to, but we do without knowing maybe. But you can also identify them in other people. So the people that lecture everybody usually want it really bad, right? They want it. So again, they lecture everybody as if they are better, when they themselves have only been Christians for like 5 minutes. Sorry, 1 year, 2 year, even 5 years. Like that's kind of a baby Christian when you think about it. Like, if this is a lifelong journey, 5 years, really, like, not that long. The same way, like, if you've been working a job for 5 years, you're actually kind of competent, right? But like, even me, I've been doing YouTube for 5 years. And you could say, like, okay, I'm pretty good at it. But, you know, Megyn Kelly probably knows more about media than me because she's been doing this like 20, right? They then use God to manipulate people. So they use Jesus to build their following online, to get attention from either men or women, to signal purity, or to get money. Then they get caught doing the same thing as everybody else. And then everybody acts shocked. And then more people leave the church than they converted. So there's a big argument that says, oh, well, I mean, at least they spread the good word. I would say no. I would say Elijah Schaefer, Sarah Stock, you people, because you were using God for your self-interest, right? You've led more people away from church than to it. And I'm really kind of getting sick of the religious people you got to call out these grifters. Okay. They're using, like, didn't Jesus flip tables? Okay. Now, going back to my personal experience, growing up, I went to Catholic school. And in Catholic school, we had chastity speakers every single year. Let me find this. And one of them that came to my church was Jason and Christiana Everett. And this was a couple, and it was kind of the same old. This is a Catholic couple, so I don't want to hear it. The Orthodox, I don't have enough experience in Orthodox to give examples for you guys. I probably could find it. But I once had an Orthodox priest join one of my spaces and tell me that women don't sleep with their husbands because he doesn't, like, pay attention to them or some bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you guys every church is going to do the same thing. Now, and the reason I'll give a reasoning. The reason this stuff grinds my gears, I think, is because I think it's despicable to use people's belief against them. Because I would say there was a time when I was a practicing Catholic, right? There was a time when I was more religious. But there's nobody that hates you more than someone that was fooled, right? Like, and I think a lot of people feel like, and that's why I've always died on the assertion that you don't meet a lot of intelligent men over a certain age, probably 40, that still go to church because they've just seen this cycle too many times. They've seen this same cycle. Orthodox priests are also prone to be out of touch and not mention skew things in the defense of women. I have never, of course I've been fooled. What do you think? Yes. How do you think I became the way I am? What the fuck? I have never seen a church that doesn't default to group programming. And it's, I don't know. So it seems like the best religion is just the religion that's at your house with nobody else involved, where the man just interprets, he can read the Bible and interpret it and then tell the woman what to think. That seems like to be the best way because men naturally seem to find reason on their own. That would be I don't know, like it just, I've never seen groups not be used against not be used against the guy. Okay. But let's watch the testimony that I heard when I was in high school.
What is love? Well, for me, my father left when I was surrounded by uncles and even my grandmother who was divorced. So for me, love was temporary and it wasn't a forever thing. So that carried into my relationships. When I was about a sophomore in high school, I had my first serious relationship. And after a while dating, we thought we were in love and everything was great.
I don't know why this sounds like AI, but
And slowly the pressure started to set into the relationship.
oh, okay. Is this a different? Okay, hold on. Let me. Christiana and Jason. I don't know why that sounds weird. Testimony. Whatever. This will work. This is what she said.
What is love? Well, for me, my father left when I was and I was surrounded by an...
You said this is AI. Okay, how do I see the... How do I get the translation off? Huh. Okay, because I was like, that... I know that's like the testimony she said, but I don't know why it sounds like that. Hold on. Let's do this guy. But I remember every speaker we had, it was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. This one will work.
I'm coming from a completely different angle than Jason here. When I was about a sophomore in high school, I had my first serious relationship. And after a while of dating, we thought we were in love and everything was great. And slowly, we started to get very physical. And slowly, the pressure started to set into the relationship. And it came to a point where he said, well, girl, if you really love me, you truly love me, you'd prove it to me. You'd show me just how much you love me. So I needed advice. So I went to my girlfriend.
So now she's blaming, okay, so this testimony, right? She's blaming the man already and saying that, can you guys hear this okay? She's blaming the man and saying, I wasn't horny, he was horny. And I just like, just because I wanted love, that's why I had sex with him. Christian men eat this up.
I said, well, he kind of wants to do this with me and he wants to do that. And they said, well, if you aren't doing this with him, if you aren't doing that with him, I mean, well, what's...
I don't think it goes any higher than this. I can try to find another. I might have to go back to the AI one. Hold on. Because this doesn't go any higher, I don't think. Yeah, no, that's the highest it goes. Let's try this one.
And act like they're kidding.
All right, what do you guys think? System volume? It doesn't go higher than this. Like I'm even... Oh my gosh, Ellie. Hold on. Go to volume mixer. Look, I can't. My bad. Some people are wanting me to mess with the settings, and I'm letting you know there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do it. I always mess it up. Crystallianas. I'm sure I'll find a better video though. Crystalliana testimony. It's the same. Oh my god. I'm so irritated. This isn't working. I don't wonder if she talks about the story. Essentially, this couple, though, it's kind of the same old thing. She was a whore. Here we go. Oh, here's better. Okay, wait, let me see. I think this one works. All right, let me share. Let's try this one.
Instead, I wrote another letter, and every single time I was tempted to go back to that lifestyle, sophomore in high school, I had my first serious relationship. And after a while of dating, we thought we were in love and everything was great. And slowly, we started to get very physical. And slowly, the pressure started to set into the relationship. And he said, well, girl, if you really love me, if you truly love me, you prove it to me.
She's blaming it on him, like you didn't want to throw it back to. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
You'd show me just how much you love me. So I needed advice. So I went to my girlfriends and I said, well, he kind of wants to do this with me and he wants to do that. And they said, well, if you aren't doing this with him and if you aren't doing that with him, then I mean, well, what's wrong with you? Everybody.
That's kind of true. I mean, let's be honest. When you like a guy, you're not really waiting that long. You know?
He's doing it. You love him, right? And I thought, well, yeah, I love him. They said, well, then what's the problem? So at the age of 15, I lost my virginity, thinking it was going to cause this huge, great emotional bond between us. We are going to be on cloud 9 and so in love. And in all actuality, it eventually destroyed any love in the relationship, and all respect was just thrown out the window. Because if I couldn't even respect my own body, how is he supposed to respect it? And after a while of dating, it seemed
so again,
like
she's blaming the problem. And this is what the churches do. They blame this having sex as the problem, not being an insufferable woman, which is way more likely to be the problem. And this is a big cope fest. It's like, oh, men marry women. They fucked on the first night all the time. But it's when she was likable and charming. You know, it's not when she was annoying and bitchy and controlling, you know.
He didn't want to spend time with me anymore. He was basically spending the time with my body. Now, when a girl is being used, she knows it. She knows it in the depths of her heart. She may deny it, she may ignore it, but she knows it, and I knew it. And after a while, we were constantly fighting. He was cheating on me, and we broke up and went our separate ways. Now, I will never forget the day when he walked away from me for the very last time. And as he walked away from me,
why did he walk away from you? You know, what did you do? And how crazy is it? Can you imagine being the guy that took this girl's virginity and she's giving speeches on it for like 20 years later with her husband? Isn't that like, wouldn't you kind of feel like you're that
I could think about was that guy's taking something with him that never belonged to him in the first place. But I can't get it back, right? What's the point? It's already gone. So there I was in the cafeteria talking with my girlfriends. And I came to this conclusion, okay, if a guy can date me for about 6 months without sleeping with me, then he must love me.
So now she's raising her price, not the value. You know, she could have like offered more value outside of sex. This is why I'm telling you, it's so cooked in these churches. They don't tell women any way to offer value outside of sex. They make sex the end all be all, right? It's not really when you have sex. It's how pleasant, like you can have sex with a woman early and she's a wife. You know, you can just tell. Hold on.
Then I'll sleep with him. And I think now 6 months is the price that I put on my body. If he gives me just...
Well, you got to have some price, right? I mean, like, what? I mean, he's not looking for a friend, right?
A little bit of that time and just a little bit of that attention, that's the definition of love. And I carried this mentality all through high school. He was the first guy that I slept with, but he wasn't the last because it starts a vicious cycle. And after a while, I was pretty deep into it. Now, I'm not standing up here pointing my finger at you guys saying, you guys, you're the problem. No, I happen to believe that you guys will be as much of a gentleman as we ladies require. Now, I wasn't acting like a lady back then, nor dressing like a lady back then. Therefore, they didn't feel the need to rise up and act like a gentleman around me. And what seems to happen sometimes is that girls will give guys sex for the sake of getting the love from them. And guys will give girls the love for the sake of getting the sex from the girls. And
do you know, if anything, I think men get more attached from sex a lot of times than women. And I'm just being honest. Look, attractive women I knew in high school, I'm telling you, were not that attached from sex. The less attractive ones with less choice would bang a Chad and get attached. But like the women with multiple Chad options, they're like, all right, see ya, going to school in Arizona. Like, if anything, the men were more attached to the women at 19 than the women attached to the men. Women only get attached like when we got to. We're like, you know.
And it can go both ways. Now, with this lifestyle, I got into the partying, I got into the drinking, I got into the clubbing. You name it, I was into it. And granted, at the time, yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very attractive. And I know what that's like. But I also know what it's like to wake up the next day when that party's over, when those friends are gone, and when I was there by myself. And I remember waking up thinking, I can't believe I did that last night. I hope I don't have to see his face in the hallway at school on Monday. What if he tells everybody what we did last night? What if I'm pregnant? What am I going to tell my mom? What if I
You just abort it? Let's be on. Let's keep it a buck here. I mean, again, like throwing it back isn't there's nothing wrong with it if you're doing it with the same guy, but how many, you know what I mean? It's like, how many were
have a disease now? What am I going to do? All of these things constantly going through my head. And the night before, my friends would always say to me, oh, it's all fun and games. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But I can promise you and stand up here today and say, the next morning, the fun and games was over. And I woke up hating myself, and I woke up with nothing but disgust and regret. And I knew deep in my heart, it wasn't worth it. There was a girl that came up to me after one of our talks, and she said, you know, during the talk, I was thinking all the hooking up with guys, all the going to parties, doing this and that. She goes, I realized I was just a prostitute who wasn't getting paid. And it hit her. It hit her hard. Now, after a while of living this lifestyle, my mother...
You see how, like, okay. Isn't that resent? Like, can you imagine? She was more mad that she's not getting money. That's what the girl was mad about. Oh my God, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Mother had an idea what was going on in my life. Most parents have an idea what's going on in your lives. As much as I thought I was fooling my mother, I was really fooling myself. And she came up to me one day and she said, Kristalina, there's a talk on relationships this weekend and you're going to it. I said, a sex talk? Are you kidding me? I'm not going to go listen to some dork talk about sex. Thanks, but no thanks. She said, no, you're going. I don't care if you like it or not. And I thought, fine, okay. I'll go to her little talk. I'll sit in the very back of the room for 15 minutes and I'm out of there. I have a party to go to. I have friends to see. I don't have time. And in that 15 minutes that I sat there, my life was changed. There was a guy who was very honest, blunt, and real. He talked about all of the girls, all of the sex, all the pornography, all of the partying he had
I bet he was hot. She listened to him because he was hot.
Been into. And he just laid it out. And I felt like that guy, he had grabbed my hand out of the audience and he walked through my life. Like he could see the things I was most ashamed of and hiding. And I thought, well, what's the difference? He's done the same exact things I've done. And I just watched him and he just had this peace, this joy, and this confidence that he carried about himself that I didn't see that in my friends. I didn't see that in the places I went to, and I definitely didn't see that in the guys I was dating, and I wanted it. But he had one quality above all of them that I wanted more than anything. He wasn't ashamed of himself. I sat in my seat trying to figure out one.
So again, this is what she's telling us. They keep giving the worst people microphones. And you know what I was at? I went to the pool this weekend. It was kind of fun, actually. After we played a volleyball tournament, then we went to the pool. And I just can't stop arguing. I need to shut up more. I need to stop telling people they're wrong, right? I need to just chill. I need to chillax because who likes the girl at the pool that's telling these Christian guys they're simps? Do you know what I mean? But this guy starts asking me like the stupid leading questions. Like, do you think that if you died tomorrow, you would go to hell? And I'm like, yeah, probably. The scripture, didn't it say like the road to heaven is narrow? Like, why would I assume? Shouldn't I assume I'm the rule? Like, why would, isn't it kind of arrogant to assume you're the exception? Right. And this guy is like, yeah, and he starts asking me these stupid questions where they're like, oh, well, like, what's the purpose? Like, these stupid questions, Christian guys that are trying to evangelize, like, ask these questions that are very broad, and then they just scream at you scripture. I mean, he was a nice guy. I'm over exaggerating. He was a nice guy, but like, bruh, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, and he like had a cross thing on his neck, on his like necklace or whatever. And I'm just sitting there, and he's trying to evangelize or do whatever. And I told him about the 10-year rule, and I'm like, how can you lecture me about anything when you have been like, apparently you were doing all these sinning like a year ago. I'm like, I mean, because I don't know what you did before that. Like now, and the stuff they were into, it's never like I lied. Like me, like if I was going to give my testimony, I'd be like, I gluck 9,000. I gossip more than I should, you know. But it's like these people will be like, I cheated on my wife, did drugs, did every drug imagined. Like, it's like so far, you're like, all right, I didn't need God to not do that. Like, they're like, I did like 70 gangbangs and I did porn. And I'm like, okay, I did not need a book to tell me not to do that. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm, and then they're like, well, yeah, but you don't have sin, you sin too. And I'm like, that's true. But I don't know, like in Catholicism, we had venial sins and mortal sins. And like, you know, and then they try to do false equivalencies. They're like, yeah, if you gossiped, it's the same way. It's the same thing as me cheating on my wife like a million times. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't, do you know what I mean? I'm like, it was the same thing when Sarah Stott called into my show. She's like, I'm making better life choices than you. And it turns out she was banging her married boss while making her cuck husband wait. And I'm like, look, I've made a lot of bad life choices. I'm sure someday there will be things that come out, you know, and, you know, things I'm not proud of. But I don't know. I've never banged a married guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just a little dicey for me, you know, like that's like, okay, you know, yeah, you know, gluck 9,000 with your man versus extreme porn, you know, it's like, I did extreme porn. Yeah, and that's what I don't even like, because I know I don't live like a good enough life to really lecture people. I think, I even feel a little weird and uneasy. Do you know what I mean? But it's like these people that have been saved for like 2 minutes. You're lecturing me? Like, it's like a porn star. You're lecturing me. And again, I'm not, you know. And the worst part is they never take accountability for it. Like, look, if I got caught glucking or some bullshit, right? You know what I mean? If they were like pearl glucked or whatever, I would just say, look, I was horny. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? I wanted, you know, like sometimes I just, you know, that would be my answer. It sure as hell isn't going to be, oh, he used me. I just wanted love, so I had to gluck gluck. It's like, really? It's like, look, sometimes, I mean, sometimes, that's at least more honest. It's like the Elijah Schaefer thing. Elijah, why didn't you just say, look, that punani was amazing. Like, that was like the best punani ever. And I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. Not, oh, well, I wasn't saved at the time. It's like, okay. And then, you know what they'll do? They always lecture me after they've been doing it like a year. I can do anything for a year. Like, okay, I did no desserts for a year. And I'm a dessert addict, okay? If anything, like, I actually think it's more of a red flag if you can't indulge a little bit. Because when I abstained from dessert for a year, it was like all or nothing. Like, if I eat a little bit of it, I'm going to go crazy, right? I'm going to go crazy. And I think that's the same thing with like the whores when they're like, oh, I can't have any sex now. Like, if you can have sex and then put it away, don't you exert like more self-control than the people that can't do it at all? It's like the same thing. I have no self-control when it comes to sugar, right? Am I tripping? Someone said, what's a gluck gluck? You might be in the wrong stream. You might need to find a different stream, Grandpa. And they always come at you and they say, well, are you saved? And it's like, oh my God, the N-word would just fly so well right there. N-word, you don't even know if you're saved. They said and it's such an arrogance. They're like, well, I'm going to heaven. It's like, are you? Really? I mean, you were glucking on camera 10 minutes ago, ma'am. You are confident you're going to heaven because you got dunked in water? And what I've realized is a lot of religious people are really lazy. Like, they want all of the credit without doing any of the work, right? So I say, hey, and I actually think to this woman's credit, I do think she stuck out this grift for over a decade. So I'm going to give her props. But before they accept the Jesus dollars, like before you're going to make money off of the religion, I think you need like 10, even 20 years of good behavior. We don't make somebody the CEO of a company without 20 years of, work experience. But we keep giving these ladies microphones, or even the men microphones, with no work experience. Now, that's the other thing they come back at me. They say we're all sinners. And I'm like, look, can we just be honest? Like, there's levels to this shit. And that's a very woman thing to do, because when women don't like hierarchy. And again, this is just my observations. Women don't like women are the ones that get rid of first place, second place, third place. When it comes to sin, there's got to be first place, second place, third place, right? There's got to be first place. You are sinning less than the rest of us. Like my father would get a first place. I'd get maybe like a third place, and Elijah Schaefer and Sarah Stock wouldn't even make the board. And so it's like, you guys aren't even on the board, so get the fuck out of here. Like, or like, if you were in 100th place, let's not hear anything at all from you ever until you get to like third place. And if you can never do that, like if you can't live a life that's good enough to be ranked, then I don't want to hear from you. The same way I don't really want to hear from, fat people giving personal training advice. Like, they're the equivalent of fat people giving personal training advice. And see, this is another thing. They say, let he without sin cast the first stone. And I think that's a very different argument. I'm not casting the stone. I'm not saying I'm better than her. I don't hate her in any way. I'm just saying, get off the stage. I'm saying, get to the back of the church, lady. I'm saying, I don't want to hear from you. Those are very different things. I'm not saying you're going to hell because I'm not even confident I'm going to heaven. Right? I don't know. Like, I'm not God. But I'm saying get, I don't want to hear your testimony because you're a whore, right? Like, I want to hear the testimony of you know, it'd be great. I'd love to hear the testimony from a woman who did none of that. It could be verified and she married a Chad. Because you really got to show to the women that you're only going to get Chad if you act right. You're only going to get a husband. You can't tell women that you can act awful and get a husband. Why would they not act awful? Like, you see, this is doing more harm than good. And whenever she goes back to Gluck Gluck 9000, it's gonna, the same way Sarah Stock and Elijah Schaefer, there's got to be some anger from religious people where it's like, you guys are deterring people from converting. If you think Sarah Stock and Elijah Schaefer didn't deter people from converting, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm telling you, the guys that I know that live the most moral lives over the age of 40, they're not in church because they're just sick of they're sick of the circus. Riley Reid got married. I know. God help us. That's terrible marketing for religion. God help us. Okay.
Day that I hadn't been ashamed of myself after I'd started living that lifestyle. I couldn't find one. A single day of just true peace and joy. Not worried what I'd done prior that night, prior that weekend, prior that month. Never any peace. Always worried. And I realized,
yeah, the good women you described don't go out of their way to celebrate themselves or put themselves in front of others. That's true. That's true.
in that moment, I needed to get my standards out of the gutter and raise them as high as I
Again, I need to raise my standards, but not my value.
possibly could. And I needed to start respecting my body for once. And I went home that night and I wrote down every single thing that I had done, which was a lot and it was very overwhelming. Then I wrote down everything this guy had said to me and I put it in an envelope and I hid it in my bedroom because I knew that weekend that temptation was going to be there. And I can promise each and every one of you, those temptations will always be there. But God always promises a way out. And in a sense, that letter was mine. And sure enough, that weekend, there was that party. There were my friends. There were those guys. And I ran to that letter. And it was a very harsh reminder what was there waiting for me. And I didn't do it again. Instead, I wrote another letter. And every single time I was tempted to go back to that lifestyle, I would read my old letters and write a new one. So now I have this huge stack of letters of all of the no's that I've said in my life. Now, Jason here has waited 27 years for his future bride. In 2 weeks, we're getting married. I can't stand up here and say on those Friday nights, on those weekends I was out partying with my friends, I held myself back for love of him. That I was respecting my body for love of my future husband because I wasn't, and that's a lie. And I can stand up here and I can look in your eyes, all of your eyes. But every day for the rest of my natural life, I will look into those eyes. And it tears me.
So do you hear how she's talking? That's like emotional language. I can always tell who a church is catered to, kind of based on how they talk. Doug MP, if you got any egregious religious clips, feel free to send. Feel free to send. We could watch those too for shits and giggles today.
Up. That I allowed someone to rob him of a gift that was meant solely for him and no other. Now, Jason knows everything I've done in my past. He knows it all and he accepts it all.
And remind you, that's women see men as beta bucks. They tell everything to because they're not afraid to lose you. A woman with a Chad, look at, can the Chads in the chat please stand up? The chat, if you've had a woman view you as a Chad, she will lie to no end. It's the beta bucks. They're like, here, I did all of this. Chads care less about a woman's past. That's not really true. I know a lot of guys that slay that still care. But a woman is not going to tell him especially over a certain age. Okay.
But he loves me for the person that I've become, and that's what matters most. But when I turned my life around, a lot of my friends, they didn't get it. They thought it was some big joke. They just constantly made fun of me. They're like, well, what are you, a prude now? What are you too good for us? What's your problem? They just couldn't get it. And they were just constantly making fun of me. And I went home one day and I told someone what was going on. And the best advice they could give me was, oh, don't worry about it. Just ignore it. You're doing the right thing. Well, I tell you today, if anyone makes fun of you for living out a lifestyle of chastity, of purity, of respecting,
I'm going to make fun of you right now. Yeah, you can't stop me. Yeah, and I'm going to make fun of you because, it's like, why do you have to throw it in everybody's face? You hoard out and you still got a cute husband, okay? You hoard out, you still got a cute husband, you won. Why don't you shut the fuck up and sit in the back of the church? We do not want to hear from you. We don't. We want to hear from anybody else. Literally anybody else. I would like to hear from my dog before I hear from you. So,
in your body, and you get made fun of for that, you remember it. You remember every single word they say to you. Go home, make a book of it, write it all down. Because when you stand in front of your bride or in front of your husband on your wedding day, you tell me, where is the laughter? Where is the mockery?
Did you know who's mocking? The laughter and the mockery is going to be all of your exes that you smashed on the first date, laughing at your husband that you made wait. I mean, that's where the laughter and the mockery is going to be. You should just assume the woman's banged like a bajillion dudes and you should have a quiet ceremony that nobody knows about.
Who is going to be making fun of you then? Nobody. There will be complete silence.
Chads are going to make fun of you.
In that place on that day. And any of those people that made fun of you would pay $1 million to be in your shoes.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. This is why I'm sick of hearing that this is not a problem in Catholic Church, Orthodox Church. You guys all have your different versions of this.
Stand up there. You will say, I will honor you and I will cherish you all the days of my life. Well, today's a day of my life, and today right now is a day of your lives. So keep that in mind and take it to heart, because your lives are going to be so much more than these four walls in this high school, and it's going to go way and far beyond that. For those of you in the audience that are virgins, I have the utmost respect for you. And I think that is just awesome. And don't ever be ashamed of that. But
see all those guys, they're pitying the husband. Do you see these guys? They're like, oh, that poor man. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Proud of that. Because I know plenty of people who would love to trade places with you.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going for your honesty. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, so let's move on. Doug MPA's got a clip for us. A Mormon girl who's a born-again virgin. And look, this isn't a bad deal for some of you guys. Some of you guys are ugly, chopped, right? And that's your only way to go, is to go to church, pretend to be a religious, and then get a girl out of your league, right? And unfortunately, it would be a girl in your league, but because of the options that women have, which are like crazy, it would kind of be out of your league. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, let's go.
I don't think I've ever officially told you guys that I'm a born-again virgin. I'm waiting until marriage again. I literally just recorded a whole podcast episode about this. But I grew up Mormon, right? Like, I grew up in the LDS religion. A huge emphasis in that religion is waiting until marriage, okay? So, like, that had always been my goal in life. Even when I left the church at 17, I was still like, no, like, I'm still gonna wait. Like, that's something that's genuinely really important to me. And then I moved out to college, and I had a situation where I didn't get to wait till marriage, if you catch my drift. And then from that
yes, you hoard out. Yeah.
point on, I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. Like, I tried my darndest to wait. That got taken from me. So I literally just went and slept.
Notice, like, look at that got taken from me. It's not something she did and enjoyed. I mean, come on, like, can we not? The early sex is like some of the most exciting sex you have, you know? Like, let's just keep it a buck. I know she's a mid, but we're in America and America's fat. So she's treated as above mid here.
With like, guys, this is crazy that I'm telling you this on the internet, but I literally slept with 3 different guys within that 2-day time period. Like that.
Why did you say that? Oh my God.
2 days span, because I was like, screw it, I can't do this anymore. It was just very much a shame spiral. And that's the situation where I got herpes and chlamydia at the same time. So like a week after that,
oh my God.
something was off, something was weird, and I like went down this whole Google spiral and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have an STD. Went to the urgent care, I got the diagnosis. I thought my life was freaking over. Now here's where the story gets crazy. The guy who R-worded me kept showing up at work. I had gotten laid off.
And now she was raped. Okay, of course.
From like my full-time job, so I got like a random retail job, and he kept showing up at my work and asking for me, and I was having the craziest panic attacks. One of the reasons I ended up moving out of my home state, I was like, I literally cannot be here anymore. When I was 19, I packed up all of my stuff, and I had this whole breakdown where one night I was like, I have to leave, I have to move. And within a month, I moved out of Utah. I moved to Austin, Texas, and it's been 3 years since I left Utah. So for 2 of those years, I'm still pretty sexually active. And then I start hearing myself saying, oh, all men want is sex. All they want is to just like hook up, and they want to be physical, and then they leave. And I start noticing myself becoming very jaded. And I had to look at myself and say, Beth, we're not complainers. We don't sit here and complain and go, oh, I'm the victim. What are you going to do about it? You notice this pattern with guys. Are you going to sit here and complain that guys suck? Or are you going to take this into your own hands and set a boundary for yourself? And around this time, I also had an experience with someone named Utah Boy who showed me what it was like to have experiences with someone you actually love. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And last April is when I finally made the decision. I had a guy sleeping over, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I literally never want to do this again in my entire life.
Can you imagine you're about to bang a girl with herpes and she turns you down? It's got to be incredible. What an experience.
Life until it's my husband. The next person that I am giving myself to, like in this intimate way, they're going to be literally contractually obligated to love me for the rest of their freaking lives. Okay. I can't do this anymore. I cannot be meaningless anymore. I need depth. I need connection. I need comfort. I need safety. Here's what's so vulnerable is I don't know what's normal anymore. Like, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like. I don't know like what's normal, but what I do know is that intimacy is supposed to equal safety, not just lust. And that was a hard lesson to learn. That took a lot of pain. But with the amount of like traumatic experiences that I've had with intimacy, in order for me to start healing, I gotta take a step back first. I need to remove myself from that situation and then allow that person who is going to be that safety, that comfort, that person, they're gonna have to wait. I'm gonna put them through the freaking ringer, okay? If they want to literally touch me, I'm like, there's a wall here. Show me first. Show me who you are. Show me I'm safe with you first. And that's why I'm waiting again. And whenever I say that, people are like, oh, why not just like wait until you're dating someone or wait until they're your fiance? Because my heart, okay? Because of my tender little heart, because of my...
Yeah, so they never tell her it's not about the sex. Like the sex, like it doesn't really matter that much when you give a guy sex if you're a good woman. You know,
17-year-old self who first lost that first experience when she was R-worded when she was 17, and then again when she was 18, and then a myriad of other experiences where I'm like, no, I am putting my foot down for my past self and for my future self, just out of like protection and out of love for myself.
Yeah, okay, cooked. Here's another one. My husband and I waited for marriage.
Girl, I do not regret it. I'm gonna take you on a little story time, okay? He had been saved since he was 4. I had been walling out in the trenches of the world. He had been a virgin his whole life. I had been far from, okay? That's where we're starting. We got together when I had been saved for about a year, and he had been single for about 10. I had been single for about 3 minutes. It wasn't 3 minutes. It was longer than that. I had a single season with Jesus, but it wasn't very long, okay? And so when we got together, the Lord had to put his hand so graciously on our relationship and give us strength, because your girl was not so fond of patience, you know? From the time we started dating until the time we got married was literally less than 6 months. The Bible says, rather you marry than burn with lust.
Yeah, just so you know, the quick marriage usually signals not many options for one or both parties.
And we said, say no more. But for real, we both had confirmation from the Lord that we were going to get married. We knew very early on, a week into our relationship, that we were going to be husband and wife. So we start dating. We start loving each other.
Okay, I don't need to hear the rest of this. We already know where this is going to go. Okay. This woman's not going to get to the point.
So comfortable.
comfortable talking about this on social media, but I woke up with the urge to share it. And that is, if you and your boyfriend have made the decision.
Notice this guy says, if only she had a dad. I know women with and without dads that have whored out. It's the woman's choice, not the man's choice. It's the woman making a choice.
Decision to wait till marriage, stick to it. There are so many podcasts and pastors and YouTube videos and interviews you can listen to about how to be successful in that, and they all say make firm boundaries. And when they say that, they mean it. We heard that, my boyfriend and I, and we kind of took it with a grain of salt. We went a year without having sex, and then once we moved long distance, that like rush of emotions when you see each other, if you don't have the right boundaries put in place, it will win. And it did, and we fell, and it took us a while to get.
And see, notice we fell. Like, look, every time in my life I have Gluck Gluck 9000, I wanted to Gluck Gluck. There's no falling. I mean, it's like you get horny and you get naked. Do you know what I mean? Like, how the fuck did you guys fall? How did you fall on the dick? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, bruh.
Get out. Or I'm not saying get out like it was like, you know, something like jail.
But it's like, why don't they just go to the courthouse? Go to the courthouse, skip the wedding, get married. Boom. Boom. Done. But the woman, one of them still wants to explore their options. Like, you can go to the courthouse in a week and get married.
It feels like jail when you are not supposed to be having sex with your partner and you already have that conviction. It really does complicate. It can complicate the relationship. There's reasons why.
Right. I want to show you guys a slideshow I made called the God Economy. Okay, it's very important. So we have modern dating: meet online, at school, at a bar, in a social setting, have sex within 3 dates, situationship for a couple months, date for 3 years, get married, 1 to 2 kids, divorce after 8 years. Traditional dating is an arranged marriage. Marry young, before 25, and even that's kind of pushing it, really before 22. But, you know, for shits and giggles. Have kids before going to school, stay home with the kids, have 4+ children, obey your husband in all things. In the church economy, you tend to have the pimps, which are the pastors. Usually, they're either super simps or pimps, and they will bang the congregation. The future hoes, these are like the Lauren Chens, who like just, you know, very obviously want a whore so bad, but married young. Like, so they're like, but they very obviously want it really bad. The born again virgins, these, you know, heavy makeup, still have whore tendencies, but they wear a Jesus cross now. Simps, naive men. We got Crowder there. We love you, Crowder. Crowder and I are pals, I'd like to say, but you are unfortunately making my simp. He's a pimp now, you know what I mean? He's dating a bad bitch, I'll tell you what. But, you know, back then, simping for a mid. Michael Knowles, this guy, they tend to use God to build their brand, clout. Not that Crowder did that so much, but Knowles does. This guy does, even though they've only been like quote unquote saved for like 5 minutes. The prodigal daughter theme, they found Christ, but they can never check if it's genuine. There's no barrier to entry, which, you know, my 10 years would be a barrier to entry. Simps make money off of Jesus and conversion stories, and also need seats in the church filled, so they pander to women. Here's the Karens. These are ex-whores who also married or had kids late. They did modern dating and then want to nag everyone else not to do it. They always pretend that they're virgins, but, you know, nobody really believes that. There's the occasional couple that makes it and married young and has no idea what's going on. This blondie here found her Christian Chad and, you know, stayed married. The God economy is the pastors hooking up with the born again hoes. The Karen and the simps are shaming men's behavior while giving women a pass. The simp church elders take women's side for everything, tell the women they are amazing and simp for eternity. The simps and born again hoes find each other, and when the divorce, she calls him abusive, and the church takes her side. There is Brett Cooper with her tits out. Whatever this girl's called. I don't know. These are just e-girls whoring, which is what we do best, honestly. So, what inspired this talk today? We're going to read. Not this. Trevor Sheets. My wife was formerly promiscuous. I was a virgin. She was then radically born again, committed to the church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in her bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past sexual sin. We got to know each other for well over a year, dated 4 months, engaged for 2.5, and didn't sin sexually with each other. And our first kiss with each other was at the altar on our wedding day. We've been married over 5 years, and she's been the most wonderful and godly wife, mother to our 3 children, and homemaker you could imagine. She's more pure than most virgins, as biblical purity has less to do with past sins and more to do with one's current posture of the heart and daily decisions to honor the Lord. We're quick to forget the story of the woman labeled as a known sinner who was washing Jesus's feet with her tears while kissing them too. The Pharisees were shocked that Jesus let a public sinner do this. Jesus responded with a parable about debts being forgiven and ended with this powerful conclusion. Her many sins have been forgiven. That's why she's loved so much. But the one who is forgiven little loves little. Everybody seems to highlight the benefit of virginity, and it is certainly a blessing. But we forget to highlight the benefit of being forgiven much as well. My wife knows the depths of Jesus' forgiveness more than the people enabling her to live more easily out a life of passionate love for her Savior. A woman or man's sexual sins matter. But what matters far more when it comes to deciding who to marry is if the person is truly born again, if their repentance is real, if they truly have a heart for Christ, if they truly follow Jesus and obey his commandments. God has chosen what is foolish in the world and shame the wise. And God has chosen what is weak in the world and shame the strong. God has chosen what is insignificant and despised in the world, what is viewed as nothing, to bring to nothing what is viewed as something, so that no one may boast in his presence. It is from him that you are in Jesus Christ's sanctification and redemption, in order that, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away and the new has come. Yeah, now we got this chick. So a mid, right? With a big nose. Oh my God. Now this has erupted Twitter. Leonardo says this has to be rage bait. Oh, Tristan Tate responded. He said, you know, when you've never driven a car before and you scrape money together for an old shitty vehicle and you think you're in pretty good condition because you've never driven another car. I remember that feeling. Mine was a VW Golf and the engine didn't even fire from one of the cylinders. The salesman told me it had been reworked and was as good as new. I didn't know it wasn't. I had no point of reference. Now, this isn't about a physical driving sensation that was enjoyable enough despite the wear and tear, but the reliability of the soul of the vehicle was expanded. It went through numerous breakdowns. One day you will think back on this analogy. Nonetheless, I wish you both well. Tristan, I appreciate you sharing this and your gentleness in this response. While Jesus' mercy certainly grants forgiveness of all sins, past sins, and also negative effects on the present, but even these challenges are all for good. So they both look like they're like under 40. And again, this is a guy, because what always happens is the pastors want to market. He's got like a little YouTube channel. He's trying to market his YouTube brand. And so they use the whore to market their YouTube brand. And they say, oh, I'm doing this for God. But it's like, why are you using your wife for marketing? People log into this app every day and post personal things that you could not waterboard out of me. Not everything needs to be put on social media. Just saying, this has to be rage bait. It's only Monday, and we have a contender for the most cringe post of the week. Not too late to delete this. Actually, it probably is. She may be forgiven in the eyes of God, but that doesn't change the fact but that her pussy was still a dump by the time you got to it. God bless both of you. Zerk. Pray with Jason. Oh my God. Praise Jesus. You guys just want to get bamboozled. Oh my God. Here we go. Let me keep going back. All right. So we're going to go through some of the responses on this. I just want you to know that posting shit like this will turn more young men away from the church than it'll ever attract. Emily Saves America. My wife was a former Hope host is crazy. The average meet your future wife at church story, which is true. If you manage to turn a hoe into a housewife, you should probably keep it to yourself. Your marriage may not be perfect, but find solace that your husband didn't call you a whore on X today. Oh, here's another one. Sam Frank used to do OnlyFans, and now look at her.
Nobody can say that God didn't save me from OnlyFans. Nobody can say that God didn't save me from my addiction of marijuana. Nobody can say that. Nobody can take that away from me either. So I thank you, God, that you're so good, that you saved me out of the captivity of the enemy, that you broke.
Like, she's got lash extensions, lip filler, a face full of makeup. And you like, forgive me if I don't think God's your priority here, ma'am.
Chain of addiction on my life, and that you are the one and only savior for me. I thank you, God, that you've led me on this path to be able to talk about you on my platform, and that I can give all the glory to you at the end of the day.
Okay, if the glory is to you, then take off the makeup. You know what I mean?
It's not to glorify.
All right. This is her ex-boyfriend. Real.
She sells $20 Bible. Come on, chill. I'm sorry. Nobody get me.
Bruh, they couldn't stop laughing after finding out his ex went from selling $4.99 OF subs to $200 Bibles. Gina, there's no sin Christ can't wash away, but that doesn't change the fact that this kind of post is another reason why so many young men are turned off by marriage. This is not an appealing display of union between a husband and wife. Shouting about your wife's sexual past seems like a humiliation ritual to young men who are already struggling to find virtuous women. And probably a good time to remind everyone, after St. Mary of Egypt renounced her promiscuous ways, she retreated to the desert for 40 years in repentance, not took to the public square to share unnecessarily intimate details about her past sins. Oh, this is another one. My wife was formerly promiscuous. I was a virgin. She was radically born again, committed to church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in the bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past. We got to know each other well for over a year, dated for 4 months. Okay, this can't be real. All right, then we got the simp. If Andrew Tate preys on women and lives a pagan lifestyle, he's sinning in the right direction because boys will be boys. But if a born-again woman has sexual sin in her past, she's damaged goods. This is anti-woman ideology. But it's because we're not the same, right? And, I'm tired of Christians who are supposed to believe in a natural order in the world, right? They're supposed to believe God, men, women, children. Men and women aren't the same, but when it comes to sexual sin, they keep pretending they are, Dad, what should I do if I want to have a good marriage? Well, son, my first piece of advice is to avoid calling your wife a whore, reformed or otherwise, to strangers on the internet. Oh my God. Yeah, he's cooked. He's cooked. I think here's another one.
Godly, sweet, get such a godly, sweet, loving, servant-hearted husband after being with so many horrible men.
After being with so many horrible men.
I was with so many horrible men in my past. I can't even count how many men I've been with.
I can't even count how many men I've been with.
In my past before I was a Christian. And they're all horrible to me. And of course that all changed once I became a Christian, because godly, Christ-like men are like Jesus.
Like Jesus.
I wanted a genuinely godly Christian man, and I found him at church. Get such a...
Yeah. Cooked. So cooked. Nick makes fun of men who want to get married.
You can make me get married. You can't make me like it. Okay. I'm not gonna be doing the best man speech where he makes fun of me in a funny way. But seriously, you two are the happiest couple I've ever met. At least one half of them is. But seriously, like, we're not doing that though. We're not. If it's like that, it's gonna be some serious. It's gonna be like the Kill Bill wedding. If the best man is giving a speech like that, it's gonna look like the wedding in Kill Bill. So yeah. Anyway, but I love when the super chats come in. They're like, "I'm praying for you," and it makes me want to kill myself. That people actually think, what kind of person do you think I am? Actually, people think I finished the show, loosen my tie, and I go, huh. When do you think I'm going to find the one? When do you think I'm not going to have to spend my days alone? When do you think my house will be filled with the female laughter and the laughter of children? When do you think I'm going to get to lay down?
All right, let me keep going. Assume all women are promiscuous before marriage. Avoid embarrassment by not announcing it to the world. The over-explanation just says you want to convince yourself that your bad decision was a good one. Oh, here we go. This is a good one.
And here's the gist of the post. She's a whore. She's a total whore. She's a born-again whore. He goes, she was promiscuous when we met, but then she found the Lord, and she grieved over her sins, and she's so sorry for being a whore. He goes, and I'm a virgin. And we dated for 4 years, and I never even kissed her, let alone touched her. He goes, and we got married, and now she's more holy than a virgin. And we shared our first kiss when we got married the other day. And it was officiated by some Mexican. The officiant, the pastor, whatever you call it, was some fucking Mexican. And it's like, this is it. Like, it's like that Rachel Maddow clip. No, you're not having a horrible, horrible dream. You haven't died and gone to hell. You're not having a horrible, horrible nightmare. This is real. This is our lives. This is our lives now. You have to laugh because otherwise you'd have to kill yourself. It's like, this is our lives. So this girl, who's not even hot, by the way, and she looks Jewish, not that that matters, I guess. But this girl, she literally sleeps with 6,000 guys. This whore literally sleeps with 500 different football players and is a total slut. When she's beautiful, when she's young and beautiful. This is it. Women are at the peak of their looks when they're 18. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let them gaslight you. That's prime fucking age, and everybody knows it. I can't live a lie anymore. It's true. So when these girls turn 18, they're all whores. When they're the most beautiful, that's when they whore out. And they sleep with 500 football players that are 6'7". You know, they're the captain of the football team. They're the point guard. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I can go through the Nick clips. Okay, so I took some notes, and then I think people can call in for a little bit. Let's see. All right, so The reason people go to church now is either for love, they want a whore or a simp, and they do find each other. Let me say it again. The reasons people go to church now is for love. They want a whore or a simp, and they do find each other. Social media, they want to put a Bible verse in their bio and signal purity and status, or for popularity and community. Very little do I see is it about scripture. It just has become a social club, just like my gym. But my gym is honest, They torment you with this. They say, do not do as I do to get what I got. So they'll whore out and then get a husband and then say, but you can't whore out to get what I got. And this leaves a lot of men never going to find a wife because they're going to be autistic and have zero social skills to get the young hot women, because the young hot women are going to whore with somebody and they're not going to pick virgin men. Sorry, fellas. They're just not. So the only way to really get the virgin women is to Leonardo DiCaprio their asses and pick one that stays. They use their redemptive story for clout. So forgive me if it doesn't seem that genuine. If you guys are using your redemptive stories to build your brand. They use emotional language. They use God for clout, money, or status, which even though I'm not religious, just seems despicable. The Jesus cycle is I have changed 5 minutes ago. Let's throw a party and then lecture everybody. Get caught doing the same thing. Everybody acts shocked. The arguments that these people give back is you did not pick a godly woman when even when they picked a woman that was literally in church. You need to forgive her past, even though if you don't have a good future, she's not going to forgive that. They say it's about a relationship with God, which is kind of gay, right? That's kind of just like a gay thing to say. It's not about doing good. It's about a relationship. It's like, okay, what are you, a woman? The men also say they're on a journey. They, in order to avoid doing any of the hard work, like not gossiping and not sinning, they just say I'm on a journey, and that's their get out of jail free card. Ellie, stop. Yeah. They use emotional language and say you're not forced to marry them. And then they're like, the men go to church and they're like, who else do I have to pick from? You got any 18-year-old virgins? And they're like, no, I got a 29-year-old hoe. And they're like, okay, is she going to put out? And they're like, no. And then they're like, well, can I date from another church? Can I date atheist young women that are whoring at raves? And they're like, no, you can't date a non-godly woman. Get this 29-year-old whore. And they're like, well, I want the young hot women. And then, yeah. So it just, keeps going back to that. Then they gaslight you and say my church is different, and it is almost undoubtedly always the same. I saw someone in the chat saying the Muslim women are different, and I can concur. I lived in Muslim area. They also love to whore. So anyways, I'm going to put the link in the chat, and if you guys have any thoughts, you can come in and give your thoughts. I'm going to pin it. Yeah, they say alcoholics go through the same thing when they start drinking. They suddenly want everyone else to stop. Yeah, and it's because they miss it, right? I miss sugar. I'm miserable. I miss just eating a tub of freaking ice cream. I miss it. So I'm going to talk about it every day. So, what's up, my guy?
How's it going, my friend?
How are you?
I'm really glad you're talking about this subject, and I think the chat is too, because everyone's saying that they want to call in. So approach up the call-in link. So let's get it. Let's click that link, guys. The precedent has been set, Pearly. Whore out, go to college, whore out, open OnlyFans, all that stuff, and then hopefully these women will cash out and then find themselves a simp in church. That is the blueprint going forward. And remember, guys, what's the statistic, Pearly? 1 in 10 or 1 in 9 women under 30 are on OnlyFans or some type of sex work site.
Mm-hmm.
This is the blueprint going forward.
Yeah. Also, guys, when you call in, you can give a general statement about the topic. if you have a story that relates to this, feel free to call in. If you banged some whore that now is a pastor or some bullshit, call in, tell us.
And how about this? Would you marry one of these women, and what would the criteria be? Like, what would she have to? What scenario would you take an ex whore?
Also, please, if you have audio or video issues, I just don't have a lot of patience. I'm probably going to kick you. You got to figure that out. I figured it out before I was a YouTuber. You can too. If you are given good commentary, I may ask you to stay on the panel, just to have a general conversation about it. Don't be discouraged if I don't. You can just try again next time. But yeah.
That guy's post, Pearl, is so weird because most of the time women post and take L's like that on social media, but it's so weird when guys do it. Like, women overshare, but when men do it, it's so much worse.
Yeah, because you know what? Because it's like you're acting like a woman. Like, yeah.
But the consequence, what's a bigger L? If she would have posted that, saying she was an ex-whore and her husband is holy for marrying her, or him doing it? What's a bigger L?
It's him, because he's proud of it. Obviously, she's gonna be proud of that. Like, that's achievement. But if he's proud of it, oh no. All right, what's going on, Mac? What did you want to add to the topic?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I just wanted to say, is that like a lot of these girls is gonna lie, but just to get in the relationship, or they like to conceal how many bodies they had in the past. But you know what? I don't know if you heard about the new app 304 Facts. That's FAQS. They keep track of all that stuff, and the guys have been talking to each other on this app. So they can't even lie no more. Yeah, it has an image search. And like, if you're dating a girl and she goes to another city, it keeps track of the city that she came from, and it has like an active city feature. So if she bang like 10 dudes in Hollywood and try to move to like New York,
how do they verify the bodies? Like, how do because anyone just say that?
You have to keep track. The app keeps track of the conversations. You have to be able to prove that you dated her before, and then a lot of the stuff that they write on the site is like trademark, allegedly, kind of like you when you're doing your shows. They allegedly, not all.
I see.
That type of thing.
They're gonna get that. Women will get that taken down if it's
nah. They can't. They got the T app, and that's still going. So
yeah,
I don't really see a point in like a guy version of the T app, or kind of keep track of women, because especially after a certain age, honestly, after a woman's like 25 or 30, what's the point, dude? Like, women are gonna hoard up. Well, actually, I think you're better off just keeping track of a girl's social media than trying to track her on an app, because women can't shut up. Remember?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they be lying when they're not telling on themselves. And so I think it's useful, not so much in the case of how many bodies a girl has, because she's never going to tell you the truth about that anyways. But it's more useful in the case where like she's like a gold digger, or if she's like abusive, or if she like steals your stuff and she's moving from city to city. I think it's more for that.
I think that maybe guys should do that for like women that constantly try to marry guys and divorce them or something like that. Or women
they have that. They have that.
Or women that try to hide the fact that they have kids. Because guys, I don't know who's left on dating apps right now, but like, single mothers don't even put the fact that they have kids on their dating apps. And I've heard guys, especially guys, that are high value, will date and can only see women a limited amount of times a week, will have been smashing a chick for like months and not even know she had a kid.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things it has. It's like parental abuse that keeps a history, and then the other one that I think is really useful is it's So it's got different categories. One's for like gold digging. You pay like $50, you get the report. The other one is for like abuse, like psychological abuse. Other one is financial. Like it's got every type of category, like false, what you call it, parental fraud. I think that's like the big one that is very helpful. That if she was a girl that did paternity fraud on you, you can put her in that app and there'll be a record of it. That way, any guy who's trying to date her now will see, well, I'm not the first guy that she did this to. She's got a history of it.
Yeah. They'll still do it though. You see that there's 22 men that lined up to date that girl on The Bachelor.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Did you see that? I think
they're all good looking too, conventionally attractive. Good. I mean, they don't cast ugly guys for that. So
yeah,
bunch of desperate dudes. They're paying them to do that. Can't no attractive guy be lining up to go date no whore bag.
Well, but you know what it is? Here it is. It's on TV. Because here's the thing. We're at the age where men and women will both do anything to get on TV, even try to date a whore.
Yeah. I mean, that's why do you think the guy's telling the story? He wants clout on the internet.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
All right. Let's God sent me. All right. Welcome to the show.
Y'all take it easy.
God sent me.
That was a good call. Nice and short.
Welcome to the show. Okay, I need you to get out of bed. I need you to get out of bed. Like, sorry, there's just got to be a minimum. Like, I can't be talking to people laying in bed. It's just not a.
I'm putting a link in the private chat that I want you to play. It's a guy talking about what we just talked about. Give me one. It is in the private chat. It's of StreamYard, or I can put it the other spot.
Oh, that guy's funny. I've seen his stuff here. Let me share.
Ever since I competed on The Bachelorette, I always said that the show was a humiliation ritual, but this takes it to another height. You tell me, y'all flew out 22 men to compete for a 31-year-old divorced baby mama? Domestic violence history? Come on, man. ABC playing in these guys' faces, man. There's no way. There's no way. I honestly think this is social programming because you're trying to make men settle. Out of all the qualified women in America, you're telling me right now the best option for you to provide a handful of men is a 31-year-old divorced baby mama of 3, not 1, not 2, but Tress. That's crazy work. And then she regular work. That's some Midwest work, not even like Miami work. No, that's not even no New York work. That's some Midwest work. I'm trying to tell y'all, gentlemen, if you look at what the media is doing, they're literally training men to settle. This is trying to make it seem as if every woman is just still high value. I don't care what prior status she had before. She is still a 31-year-old divorced baby mama of 3. Come on, man. You have to have some form of standard. And I feel bad for the gentlemen competing. I don't know if they found out before or if they got there. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I need a refund. I'm telling you right now, listen, if I would have got to the show and they would have told me it's a baby mama with 3 kids that's divorced, man, send me back home, man. I'm on the first flight back home. Keep that rose. Keep it. Keep it. Nonetheless, it's trust fund baddies only. If you're struggling with your dating life, you're trying to align with high-value women, I want you to click the link in the bio.
Okay, look at the comments. This real fast. You see, one of the comments says, straight men don't watch the Bachelor, and that's true, but the problem is your girl does. These women are. That's the problem. Men don't have to watch it. Women watch it and start absorbing all this garbage, dude.
My buddy is one of the contestants of this specific season. He made it really far, and they don't know during casting who's the Bachelorette until the contracts are signed well after casting is complete. So they have no idea who she is.
Ooh, brutal.
Yeah, of course. Of course. All right, let's bring up JC.
Hey, it's been a while.
Hey, how you been, man? We haven't talked to you in a while.
Oh, I've been really busy, man. Just been grinding, working, back in college at night and going to the gym.
Cool. So, what are your thoughts on the topic?
Oh, I really didn't. I mean, my thoughts are that I hate it, but I had like 3 different stories of like from churches where I've seen. This is a old problem. I saw this back when I was a teenager, when I was like a 18, 19-year-old kid, just got back from I was on leave for the military. There's this 28-year-old chick in my church started hitting me up. I didn't know no better. I was like 18, 19ish. And she had 3 kids, but she was still inviting me over to come crash over at her house after the kids went to sleep.
Yeah, and that sex was crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh damn! She wore out. She couldn't even. It's like when you got 3 kids, you got a Gluck 9000. You know?
Were the snacks good though? Were the snacks in the cabinet good?
It was all right. Yeah, I mean, I dipped out early enough in the morning before the kids weren't awake. I was like, I'm not.
You did that with a Capri Sun and some freaking goldfish crackers.
But before I hear the word dad, I'm like, nope, nope.
Okay, so what happened with this girl?
I mean, nothing. I spoke to her for a little bit, and then I used the military as an excuse to dip on out there. You're talking about I want taking her with me.
God, dude.
The church and conservatism doesn't hold women accountable. They say the half truth that their sexual past is forgiven, but tread lightly on her new cross to bear and expect men to accept them as wives. Yeah.
And then when I was about 22, I went to this other church, and the pastor was a total fucking Chad, and he was looking for he was divorced and he was looking for now his second wife. So he went through about half the single church women to
Of course, yep.
find one, and he claims he didn't do nothing physical with them. But I'm like, dude, you full of shit. We end up becoming friends. I'm like, no, you're lying. You're lying through your teeth. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. And then later, like a year later, I ended up getting with one of the chicks from church, and she was a single mom, had a kid like 17, 18. She had a bad attitude, angry all the time, ended up being abusive, ended up like throwing stuff at me, like she ended up spanking my kid one time when I wasn't home, with a belt, left bruises. She was absolutely nuts. And then
Okay. Anytime someone calls and says that they're with a single mother, I'm gonna ask them to rate the sex and the snacks. So this girl, the crazy one, rate the sex and the snacks on 1 to 10.
I say the regular sex was like mid, but the best as Pearl says, the best Gluck ever.
And what about the snacks? Were you able to get some freaking fruit snacks and some?
She made good food. She made good food. I ended up dating her for a while. She made pretty good food. She could do that. She could cook, and she could, that. But yeah, that I've not seen when we ended up breaking up. The pastor took her side. The pastor was like, "Yeah, look, she's just done. She's over with it." I'm like, she's over with it. She got CPS called on us. What do you mean?
She got called on us.
She did. My kid went to school with some fucking whooping marks on her. And
Wait. Okay. So are you out of this single mother phase, or are you? Oh no.
Yeah.
You have a kid, right? So
yeah, I'm
are
on
you
my
out of
second kid. I'm on my second marriage, and my second wife did not have any kids. Got her, and now we have a kid together.
Okay, cool. So you're out of these streets then.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was 100% out of the streets after that event. I was like, this ain't happening. In fact, my cousin called me the other day. He's like, yeah, man, I really love this girl. God, she got like 2 sons. I'm like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking.
He's gonna do it.
Like he is, and I know. I'm like one kid, and like I say this, one daughter maybe. You can maybe like be a good father figure to the daughter. I say single mothers with sons, that's like because the boys are going to eventually grow up and be teenagers, and they're going to want to buck against you. So looking at the long term, that's not. You might get some static from the mother and the son. It just ain't worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for calling in, JC.
Thanks for calling, JC. Yeah, that was awesome.
Welcome to the show, Butta. What do you have on the topic?
Okay, I think that as men, we tend to be harder on women.
All right, Anthony, you got to fix your audio, but I can barely hear you. Anthony, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on the topic?
Anthony.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Anthony. What's going on?
Somehow I logged into her to the show. I'm live with you guys. What's going on? How's everything?
All right, what are your thoughts on the topic, Anthony?
I can hear her.
Okay, now you're not on the show anymore. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys got to get your audio or whatever. You got to.
He has his camera on. Anthony, we can barely hear you.
Yeah, no, I need to. I'm kicking both of you. I don't.
Yeah, so try to come back on.
Yeah,
but guys,
you know, audio.
Guys, I say no single mothers ever. Don't sleep with them. Don't date them. Don't marry them. But then I'm also both ways. You know, women with kids, women without kids. Why are you dating guys with kids? Why?
I disagree.
Let the people with kids.
I totally disagree with that.
Go ahead.
No way. You're in your late 20s. Guys with kids are great options. They're more likely to marry. They're way more likely to remarry than guys with no kids. If you're between like my age, 25 to 35, I would seek out guys with kids. Because they're usually the marrying types.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is you see more because single fathers have to worry about the father of the child of the single mother, but women are getting worse when it comes to the men they had a kid with moving on and having another woman. You see all these crash outs.
So what? It says nothing to do with you. You see the dad doesn't get custody. So if you date a guy with a kid, like it doesn't really affect you. Like, because the kid's there every other weekend. It's like 4 days a month.
Okay, but then you'd have to deal with a man whose baby's mother could feel some type of way about him moving on and make his life hell.
He could, right? But guys will always.
He will.
If he's an attractive guy, he's gonna have an ex that's gonna try to make his life hell.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess.
Yeah, so it's like
do it
that's
anyway.
gonna be hell either way. I don't know. I'm just speaking from like, I'm telling you, like, if you want to get married, guys that have kids are more likely to remarry. It's like I forgot what's the time frame they remarry in. I don't know why they love torture, but it's like they're more likely to be the marrying types. So I think if you're under a certain age, like maybe women under 26, 27, maybe go for guys without kids. But if you're over a certain age as a woman, I'd include single dads. But back to the Christian stuff. All right, Anthony, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on the topic? Have you seen something similar?
Like?
Did you watch the show?
Actually,
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Dude.
Bro, sorry. Fuck. All right, Jackson.
Hey, working, Pearl?
Yeah, it's working now.
Excellent. Sorry, I just did it muted.
That's all right. Go ahead. So what are your thoughts on the topic?
Well, my thoughts on the topic are, it's amazing how many false equivalences I'm seeing for the people arguing for this guy's post and why it's a good post or a noble post. Like, for example, a lot of these women, they just bring up, well, what about the men that look at porn? Or what if the man is not a virgin, etc. What I think would actually be a fair equivalent on the other side, given how dangerous it can be for a man to get married, especially to a woman with a higher body count, with divorce and all of that, would be like, these women would need to forgive a man who, like, let's say he was an abusive past. He was a woman beater in the past, but then he became a Christian, and then that's behind him. And you're self-righteous if you're a woman and you don't want to marry this guy. That's what I feel like really would be on the other hand of this, and would actually be an equivalent.
Or what about
no one says
what
that.
about a pedophile?
Yeah, well, that'd be even more extreme for sure. But you have the right idea, right? Like
Yeah.
none of these women are even and simps who are defending this post and this guy, none of them are even considering at all that this could actually be a very risky thing for his future and all of that, with divorce, with all of these things. And to them, they can only see it as see any objection to it as being like this self-righteous finger pointing. And that's really a huge error, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Is that all you have on the topic, or did you have anything?
Yeah, that's all I have. I can leave
Cool.
if you like.
Thanks for coming, Jackson. Appreciate it. That was a great call.
Yeah, he's always a good call. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Did Buddha already come on?
He was a guy with where his volume was really low. All right, Buddha, we're gonna let you up, but you gotta have your volume fixed, okay?
Buddha, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on the topic? No. Okay. It's okay. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark anyways. My final thoughts on the topic is water is wet, the sky is blue. Christian men love being cucked, and
whores are whores.
And whores love Christianity. So you guys will fall for anything. And I think that Christians should implement a 10-year wait period. 10 years of being active in the community and good choices. Because how long do you think someone can live a double life? I think 10 years is tough. Well, you're older than me, though. So what do you think?
You like the double life of a whore? Yeah, especially with social media and stuff, and how simpy these church guys are. Yeah, that's a tough question. Yeah, but 10 years is a good amount. I think that, like you said, I would add to the only thing I would add to what you said about it would have to be 10 years. You have to study the Bible. You have to sit in the back of the church, and you have to shut up.
I think 10 years is too long. Well, that again, people say that want to not do work. So I think 10 years, like in a company, I would say that's about how long it takes to make really good money, right? I mean, I don't know. You've maybe worked your way up in companies. I mean, I've been on YouTube, but like, how long would you say it takes to work your way up into like the C-suite in a company?
Yeah, I'd say 10 years. There's one of my favorite YouTube musicians. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like a genius at the bass guitar. And he said, to be a true master of an instrument, it takes you 10 years. Like to do enough where you can get like 1 million or 2 million subscribers on YouTube on an instrument, or, it takes 10 years. So, yeah, I would say 10 years is good.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, Doug MPA, you got any final thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, the church is just going to get worse and worse. It's funny because you're going to see less men going to church over the next 10, 15 years, while more whores are going to go there. So, like, it's this weird thing where you're going to have church simpy nerd guys have access to run through beautiful women. They're going to have their pick. Isn't that crazy to think about?
Well, it's kind of already happening. I mean, it's already happened. Like, that's the chastity speakers I had growing up. So
like, imagine being, a eligible bachelor, simpy virgin dude in like one of these major churches, and you have all these ex OnlyFans whores coming after you. And he's probably thinking, oh yeah, look, she's paying attention. But little does she know how much she gave to men before him for free, and he has to pay the ultimate price to get some ran through pussy.
Yeah, I think women start banging men on the first date in the churches. I mean, you might as well just gift him with the punani and lie later. So thanks for calling in, Doug MPA. Yeah, guys. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. I thank you guys for calling in and giving your thoughts on the topic. And thanks for being patient with me. I've been sick the last few days, so I think I'm on the other side. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.